Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. I hate to interrupt Bitcoin's new all-time high, 94.5, which I'm quite enjoying at the moment as well. But we have to talk, guys. We have to talk about this pattern in here. The last time that we talked about this pattern, Bitcoin was at 73.5. And yes, this was probably one of the top 3 indicators that told me when to sell at the top of the megaphone pattern 8 months ago in March. Since then, a lot has happened and we need to catch up on this. And we are also going to cover in this video the CBBI, which is not just one indicator, but actually an index of 9 indicators that have never failed to time a top and a bottom in the market. So in this video, we're going to answer the question, how far are we from the top of Bitcoin market? Not just in time, but also in terms of price. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I put out one of these videos. It will be really awesome if this video gets 500 likes, particularly if we manage to once again find either the actual top of the market or at the very least a very important local top. So we are just getting started with November, and November is a decisive month. We're just putting a new all-time high in the monthly. If we close November like this, we are gonna have 3 white soldiers once again. We just had them on the weekly time frame. Getting them on the monthly time frame means that we have a lot of headroom to go higher still. So why are we talking now about an all-time high? I think it's very important that we not just look at some patterns that are giving us certain bias, but we have to challenge those bias. If we want or we aim to be good traders, it is always good to think the opposite, almost like a reflex or an instinct of survival to protect your assets. And I'm not talking about being petrified of fear and missing every single call. I'm talking about not being part of what everybody believes, because that tends to be and has proven over and over to me be the wrong side. So as more retail come into the market, and as we observe a rotation slowly starting from long-term holders into short-term holders, which if we focus on 2021, long-term holders were all the time selling the rip. They ended selling pretty much at 58 at the technical top, whereas short-term holders in retail, dump money, comes in at 12K and they start buying all the way to the top. We are in price discovery. There's still more liquidity to continue doing some pumps, but we need to prepare ourselves for something that it's impossible to prevent, which is a market top. And we're gonna get started with the CBBI. I have a tutorial about this indicator. You can find it in my playlist on my YouTube channel called Trading Tutorials. It's got over 10 tutorials already, including 3 episodes dedicated to RSI, QFL, and many more indicators that I use for my daily trading. The CBBI is the Colin Talks Crypto Bitcoin Bull Run Index. As I mentioned, it's an index, and at the moment is showing 80. It spans from 0 to 100, and it contains all these indicators. As I say, I'm not gonna cover each individual indicator. Many of them are on-chain data. Some of them are just moving averages, but historically, when they are put all together, since early days in Bitcoin, they have flagged the tops of the market. For example, in 2013, the index made it to 99. In 2017, it made it to 100. In the past bull market, thanks to COVID shifting the whole market one level in the ladder down, it made it to 98, but pretty close. Now, if we focus on this cycle from the very bottom to the top where we are right now, not the final top, but the current price, you can see that the index has already made it to a level of 82. That happened at 73.5. And you might be wondering why you decided to sell at 73.5. When I was selling at that price, I wasn't thinking that was going to be the final top of the market. I was just thinking that it was a very strong technical level based on many aspects to become a local top. I was expecting it was going to be a local top just for maybe 3 or 4 months. I was never expecting it was going to take 8 months to come back to the same price. But today, the CBBI is at 8, which is 2 levels below this level in here, but the difference is that now the price is over 90K. So you might be thinking, fair enough, there is 20 levels to go up. And I think we can agree on that. I am confident, or I have certain confidence, that there's still room to go. cycle, at least above 100k. That is likely. It's not guaranteed, like nothing in trading, but it is quite likely that we can run as long as there is no black swan event in the horizon. If we observe the different tops of the market and the index behavior, we can see that in 2013, the CBBI had one top and then a higher top. 2017 is the cycle I call the perfect cycle, because even though there are massive drawdowns on the way up, it seems like just one way up. When you look at it from the distance, it reaches a blow of top and then you get kind of the same similar picture going down. The previous cycle, 2020, 2021, was really weird. And that is the effect of the pandemic in here. It pushed the whole index back into 18s, pretty much bear territory once again, and things have to restart from the very bottom for a second time, and that took away from the cycle a lot of headroom to go higher. But as you can see, even though the cycle was so weird, the CBBI performed magnificently, hitting a 98 in the index, calling for that top. Sure, you can argue that after that, Bitcoin went 4k beyond to 69k in October. Sure, but technically speaking, that was a dead cat bounce, which also the CBBI shows us here, producing a bearish divergence against the CBBI as well. What I'm expecting to see with the CBBI is a rally into the top of the market somewhere close to the 100. It could be 97, 96, 98, no one knows. But this 80 is still showing us that we are not there yet. Now, can we use this indicator to forecast an actual price top? No. And that's where I'm going to go to another chart. This chart, every now and then, I pull it back in, sometimes every 3 months, sometimes once a year. It's a quite old indicator called the BTC Top Bottom Weekly. You can find me on TradingView. My account is the Trading Parrot. Go to scripts in here and search just for bottom. That's gonna filter out all the scripts, and the indicator comes in two shapes. One is called the oscillator version and another one is the bands version. You're currently seeing both of them at the same time. So let's cut into the juicy part. There is this historic trend line from 2011 showing us that the indicator is hitting every time that trend line as a resistance. If you go to my videos in February and March this year, you're gonna hear me talking about how we are dangerously approaching the trend line once again. And whenever we approach resistance, we don't assume for free that we have to see a rejection. We also challenge that idea and think possibly we could break out. And maybe we have an all-time history breakout out of this trend line for the first time in history of Bitcoin. That would be magnificent to witness. But luckily, the close of the price during that time in the weekly time frame pushed back down. But I guarantee you that if you watch the videos, at some point we were just millimeters away with the live weekly candle touching that trend line. And I was just thinking, oh my God, are we going to break out? It was extremely exciting because thinking that if we break out, we could continue and get some level of volatility that has been historically diminishing, and suddenly it blows up again in your face, causing potentially a cycle a lot more powerful than we could be expecting. After that, during the megaphone pattern, we touch support pretty much 3 times. You can see in here, that is touching the trend line. Now, we are going to get into the juicy part. How far are we from hitting that trend line again? That is going to become a decisive moment. You let me know in the comments if you think that we are actually going to hit. So let's focus on the oscillator version of the indicator. We have the trend line and is located at the moment at 0.41. The top of the green area is 0.50. So basically, for the price to hit the top of the band at 109k, we will have to get right now a breakout above the trend line. We are pretty much at a distance of that ceiling of 0.05 and the top of the green is 0.15. So we have 1/3 of this whole move up until 109 to hit that level. And I want to make sure you understand hitting the trend line doesn't necessarily translate into the actual top of the full bull market. It could potentially just be a local top. So I want you to stay with me on this idea because I'm gonna explain why that could be. I think a local top is just 5k away. We have, as you can see at the top, 16k of headroom to go higher to get until the last green that you see below, which is 0.5. And if we just move to the resistance, we move 0.05. That is 1/3. So 1/3 of 16k is pretty much 5k point something that we can move from 94 to hit that trend line. Okay. And that is pretty much 100k, right? So we are at 94, we add up 5 point something, we get to 100k, maybe slightly less than 100k. So as I said, if we did that, this guy is going to get there and the price is going to get to 100k right there. Okay, let's put a line and let's put a line in here. Can we still get to a higher price and still respect this trend line? Because it has never been broken. Okay, so let's assume that the trend line cannot be broken yet, which is a fair assumption because we have touched it so many times. Why will we now break it? Maybe the ETFs, but we say the same at 73.5 and it was the perfect sell. So this could be again, become the perfect sell once again. We don't know. We're just speculating in here. So let's assume this sees a local top at 100k and then we come back down and we cool down somewhere, okay? Not necessarily a full cool down at the bottom of the trend line, the yellow one here, but maybe somewhere in the middle. And then we attempt once again to hit at 0.37. How will that look in terms of the price? It will look like the MA will come down and then it will curve up again. And at the moment that it gets higher, maybe in August, September 2025, we could potentially hit that trend line, but at that point, the price will be higher. Remember that with most oscillators, when the price comes down, it allows the oscillator to cool down, and on another way up, the price can get higher, even though the oscillator doesn't make it higher. That's the definition of a bearish divergence. And when you enter in the phase of bearish divergences, price can still move a lot higher. So 100k, what I'm trying to say, looks like somewhere around 100k, very close proximity. I'm talking between 95 to 105k. There is somewhere there this heavy all history resistance that we could potentially see suppressing the price once more there. Maybe just for a couple of months, maybe for longer. Last time it was 8 months. I don't think it's going to be that long, but at that point we should see some sort of shake in the market. Hopefully after that we see a cool down not as heavy as the one we have in the past 8 months, which basically went all the way to the bottom to do a full reset. Maybe this time we see half reset and we come back into the trend line, and possibly at that time the next target is way beyond 100k, possibly 140, 150. And I'm so disappointed that I didn't put an alert on this, because actually we came to retest this level, and at some point in my videos in March we say that if we had a big rejection in here, we should be coming for a retest. And these 3 levels in there are pretty much the perfect buys at the bottom, together with what PNR was saying as well. This is PNR. You can see how perfectly it also timed the best time to re-enter the market as well. I got those notifications luckily, so thanks to this pretty much I was very confident when we were buying at 49 and at 53.5k, taking the best entries to average down below 60s. So in the upcoming days, if we get to 100k in the upcoming hours and we break above this and we close with a weekly candle above this line as well, that will be absolutely unprecedented, never seen in history of Bitcoin, and I will be the happiest person if that happens, because I am holding, and the further away we get, the more money we all make. But I will be also excited to see that, or any outcome where actually we see a reaction from that line will be really interesting to see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Guys, if you're looking for an exchange to trade, a top-notch one, Look no further than Bybit. Bybit is the exchange I use to trade with my bots, with my manual trading as well. And if you use the link in the description to open a new account, you can unlock up to 30,000 in rewards, getting the lowest fees to trade in the industry as well. There's 2 days left to open an account on Bluffing and claim these juicy bonuses that get activated no matter how much you deposit. From $100 all the way up, you increase your bonuses. It's limited to only the first 100 people, and they're running out in the next couple of days. So be quick. The beauty of Bluffing, this particular exchange actually, is that it doesn't require KYC, no need for VPN, and you can open as many accounts as you want. It only takes 5 minutes to fund it and start trading with altcoins, Bitcoin, anything. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.